Hi everybody, I'm Dean Curry. I'm president and founder of Rising Star Enterprises for Wellbeing.com. And this is our wonderful show called Live Well Now, where we cover many different topics from nutrition to fitness to getting in shape to massage and of course diet tips and last but not least motivational speaking. I will speak a lot about living your dreams and finding a way to discover what's truly unique inside of yourself to basically go after any dream that you want that's already predetermined. I'd like to believe that the dreams are the treasures that already exist inside of us. It's our soul, it's our destiny, and it's up to us to basically go out there and discover it. Today's show on Live Well Now is losing weight is simple. Just follow these steps. And it's a New Year's resolution event. And the reason I'm making this tape today, and I've made some other podcasts about diet tips and things of that nature, and good eating habits for good health and stuff like that. But around the new year, I see a lot of things on TV for New Year's resolutions talking about how to lose weight. These extreme diets where you basically have to have, nothing in your diet that's actually fun, whether it be soda or French fries or pizza or ice cream or, whatever it is that you like to eat, dessert, any type of bread and no potato chips. And, I see a lot of these types of, and it isn't just seeing it one time or two times or three times, or, diets that include, all these special drinks that you have to drink, and they, meal supplements where you're not even eating a meal, but you're actually like drinking your meal. And, I don't want to say anything, adverse to those types of things, because some of those things have actually helped people, get slimmer and live their life healthier. And, these types of things have been helpful in some ways. So everything I mentioned is helpful in some way. But I'm making this video today about losing weight is simple. Just follow these steps, because I'm going to basically teach you how to, and I'm going to make this a video where I really go into it, and it's going to be simple. Okay, I like to say simple, not easy. And I'm going to say just follow these steps, because if you follow these steps, you don't have to set goals for losing weight. You don't have to check at the end of the week and jump on the scale. In fact, my motto in life is to throw your scale out. There are enough things in life that make you neurotic or compulsive. The last thing you need to do is checking your scale every single day. Weight can fluctuate anywhere from 2 to 4 to 5 pounds on a daily basis, just based on how much water weight you're retaining, or certain foods that are making you retain more water. And even there's a lot of things that go into it that basically fluctuate your weight. I'm not going to make this podcast about that, but as far as having a scale, it makes people, for lack of a better phrase, stressful about it. Oh, I'm up 2 pounds, I'm down 2 pounds. Some people I only do it once a week when I check. But when you check, you're either going to be happy or sad. So why even do it? The fact of the matter is I teach dieting and nutrition and eating well, and I've helped countless people stay trim, including myself. One thing that runs in my family, and they have this breathing machine that you take, and you take this breathing machine, they have it at a lot of gyms, and you take the breathing machine and it measures how fast your metabolism is at rest. And I remember once I took it, And I did, was working consulting in a gym, and I basically was asking people in the gym if they would like to more or less do this breathing machine. It checks your metabolism. Of course, people like, oh yeah, I'll try that. I always want to know. And I said, it's free. You just breathe into it for 2 minutes. And I had about 50 people take it. And believe it or not, my metabolism was the slowest. And I knew and I have a very efficient system, and I do things to keep my system, clear and fast. But I knew, in my family, sometimes, weight is somewhat of an issue at times. And I knew, my father, who actually was very thin for the most part, he was thin his whole life. But he never ate a lot. Like he wasn't eating. I mean, it was insane how little food that he was eating. And sure, he was a jogger and a runner and all those things, but he just didn't eat a lot of food. And I kept thinking to myself, I hope I don't have that guy's, my father's metabolism. Apparently I do. And I always knew it was slow because I just noticed that people that I knew, even people that were thin, like myself, and it doesn't matter if it's male or female, it just seems like everyone eats more than I do. And, and I exercise and all those things, but I'm mostly taking it rest. I took this breathing machine, and, my metabolism was the slowest. So, being trim, even for myself, and those of you that listen to these tapes, if you've watched about 50 or 60 or 70 of these podcasts, you would notice that I never talk about myself. Giving your own personal testimony, I guess it has its merits, but the reason why I make these videos, the reason why, I pour my passion into it is it's just, not about me. It's about positively affecting other people's lives, contributing to other people's lives. But every so often, I think it's good if I just throw in a little bit of a personal testimony that if I was not careful and I'm giving advice on this, I would really struggle with weight a lot if I was not careful. Even though I exercise and do all these things at rest, my metabolism, like I said, I went against 50 different people inside the gym and mine was the slowest. So that means I have a greater capacity for obesity or being overweight. And so when I give advice, I'm not just giving advice, to all of you saying, this guy, I'm trim, and people, he's always been trim. He's always been in great shape. It's easy for him. He's like a fitness guru. Yeah, okay. I'm all of those things. However, I have excessively slow metabolism, so I'm not giving advice to you based on the fact that I have a fast metabolism, okay, and that I have a very efficient system. I mean, outside of having a normally anatomically, natural slow metabolism that I was born with, beside that I have, an efficient system. I couldn't imagine if I didn't have an efficient system and I didn't do things to constantly manage it, I too would struggle with weight all the time. And to be perfectly blunt about it, I have to be really careful because I have a slow metabolism. So when I give you advice, okay, and I'm giving you steps and I'm telling you what it is to basically be thin, trust me when I tell you from my own personal testimony that I have to be really careful because I have and I don't have a thyroid problem or anything like that, that also slows down plasma, but I have naturally an excessively slow metabolism. So when I'm giving you advice on the fact that I've stayed thin, and I've helped numerous other people to do it, but I have an excessively slow metabolism. So it should pull more weight, no pun intended, with all of you when I'm giving you advice. Now, as far as losing weight is simple, just follow these steps, that kind of seems like a bold statement, considering I just went into this long, ordeal about how even for myself it's a struggle, with weight and managing, like how could it just be so simple? And, I've tried, just like all of you, throughout the years, I laugh about this because I tried those, special teas that make you lose weight, or those, food in a cup, and I've tried these extreme diets, and, I tried all that, and now what just keeps me thin and what keeps me in shape is really great, because I'm going to tell you phenomenal news right now. And that is I don't limit any foods that I like. I don't eliminate any foods that I like, whether it's French fries, pizza, or any food, dessert, anything, that you could imagine. Any dessert, any potato chip, any chip, pizza, you name pasta. I don't limit any of that, okay? And so this is not an instructional podcast where I'm going to tell you to eliminate the foods you like. And that should get you really excited, because you're like, wow, I have a chance of being trim, being fit, losing weight, and I don't have to give up any of the foods I like, or even the so-called bad foods. And, I'm really glad I'm making this tape, because, for years I've been saying, I want to make a tape, about how to make the bad foods healthy, or, how to still eat bad foods and stay thin, and people say, oh, I want to do that. That sounds great. I mean, let's not be extreme. I'm not going to go around saying, hey, I'm on the Krispy Kreme diet and I lost 25 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So there will be management with the foods you like. There will be instruction on how to eat the foods you like that are not good for you, or that are fattening type of foods, and how to keep them in your diet and still lose weight. Okay, and that's why what I really want to focus on is you do not, and I'll repeat it again, you do not have to go on extreme diets to lose weight, because if you basically, it's I think a quote of Confucius. He said, find a job you love and you'll never have to work another day in your life. Find a job you love and you'll never have to work another day in your life. And the same holds true for a healthy eating plan. Notice I didn't say diet, a healthy eating plan. Even the word diet, you take the T out and it's the word die. It's just got negative connotations attached to it. I like to say healthy eating, but I didn't even put diet in the title of this podcast. I just said losing weight is simple. Just follow these steps. I don't even like to use the word diet. But the thing is, what you want to do is, first and foremost, do not eliminate the foods you love. Find a job you love and you'll never have to work another day in your life, work another day in your life. Well, find an eating plan you love and you'll never have to diet for the rest of your life, okay? And the reason why is, if you love what you do in a job, it's not work. And if you love how you eat and you enjoy how you eat and it keeps you trim, it's not work. And what people do is they take all the foods they like out of something, and then they say they're going to follow it. And it's no wonder they fail. It's no wonder they trip up. It's no wonder they run into a brick wall, because if you don't love what you're doing, how could you possibly in this world stick to it? If you're drinking your drink in some type of cup and you take all the foods out of your diet, and it's a strict diet with no pasta, no certain meats, no this, no that, no dessert, nothing, no ice cream, no pizza, how are you going to stick to? How much fun is that? Okay, foods, even the bad foods, were meant for us to eat. Anything that's on this earth was meant for us to eat. Now, that I've said that, and you're going to actually have an eating plan and a fitness plan and diet plan where you get to eat the foods you like, and that should get you so excited. I get to lose weight and be trim, and I don't have to take any of the foods I like. And then you can tell all your friends, and you could say, Sky Dean Curry, he's on the podcast, he's saying I could be thin. And, I don't have to eliminate the foods that I like. Okay, well, before you start going in a frenzy where you're just going to, like I say, go on the Krispy Kreme diet or the pizza diet or anything that extreme, there are management controls that need to be put on the foods you like. For example, and they're not bad, okay? For example, let's say you really like pasta, okay? I'm Italian, okay? I know what it's like to eat pasta. And you have to understand different types of pasta. You know, if you go to Italy, there are a lot more thinner people than maybe Italian people you might see here in the United States. And one of the reasons for that is the fact that in Italy they freshly make their pizza, their spaghetti and their pasta. Okay, so they don't need, when they make fresh pasta, and there are places in the United States where you live that make fresh pasta. And if not, they have pasta machines where you could basically make the dough. It's easy, even if you don't cook. There's plenty of videos you could watch that teach you how to make the video, and you just put it in the machine and it's fresh pasta. The beauty of it is, in order for pasta to have a shelf life, and I'm sure most of you are aware of this, but sometimes you got to hear what you know. You know, I say it all the time. You know, I tell people all the time, gosh, you know, if I just followed my own advice, I'd have no problems ever, you know. And so knowing these things, you sit there and say, oh, yeah, I know that. That doesn't mean anything, you know, because a lot of people don't follow what they know. You know, one of my clients was telling me he went to medical school. He's a primary care physician, and you know, he had people in medical school for lung, pulmonary specificity in medical school, and he would laugh because most of them were like running outside during their break to smoke cigarettes. Now, I'm sure they wouldn't be, you know, giving their clients advice on, you know, smoke cigarettes. In fact, they'd be telling them not to. And these are people that are, you know, doctors, medical patients studying this stuff. They know how bad it is. Not to say that smoking, you know, is a bad thing, but just to bring up a topic, you know, and, you know, but they were out during breaks smoking cigarettes, you know, and they knew that, you know, doing that on the basis, and he said they were smoking them like chimney, like chain smoking out there, one after another. And, you know, so knowing these things, in hearing my tapes or videos say, oh, I know that already, I know everything. I love the people that tell me they know everything. Kind of funny because I actually do this for a living. You know, people pay me for this for a living, you know, and I've been studying this stuff for 35 years, and you'll never hear me say, you know, I know everything, or I studied everything. Oh, I know that. You know, in fact, you'll hear me say I don't know anything. You know, because there's just always so much more, even if you do this as a profession, so much more that you can learn. You know, my father used to tell me, you know, you can learn from a fool, but a fool can learn from no one. And it's true. I speak to clients all the time, people that really don't know a lot about being fit and nutritionally and stuff like that, but they say something profound. They say, oh, you know, I never thought of it that way. That's very interesting. You could learn from anyone. And a lot of times it isn't even me saying something where you're learning from it and saying, oh, that's so profound. You sit there, it's more probably most of the time where you sit there and say, you know, I know what he's saying is right. I know it's right. You know, it's just good to hear it. Because sometimes you forget, sometimes you have to be re-reminded, sometimes you have to just relearn it, and sometimes you just need someone to say, just follow what you know. And you sit there and say, yeah, you're right, I got to follow what you know. So it's just good to hear it. You know, I love hearing people's opinions, perspectives. Every day I learn something from someone. So as far as eating, first and foremost, do not take out the foods you like, because you have absolutely no chance. Don't go on any extreme, you know, diets. No, you know, and like I said, some of these things, you know, are desperate and actually help people. So I don't want to think people are just saying bad. I'm not one that bashes anyone or anything. There's always positive in every single thing that's out. Every program, you could find positives in it. I'm just saying you don't have to go to that extreme, you know. So let's say you like eating, I don't know, let's just throw it out there. You like eating pasta, since that seems to be a big topic. People right away say, oh, I can't eat pasta. I'm like, sure you can. What do you mean you can't eat pasta? Well, I'm trying to thin out, and, you know, and pasta is just not a good idea. I mean, if you could avoid it while you're trying to get to a certain weight or limit it in some fashion, sure, that's helpful. But what I would say is pasta isn't really a night food. And people say, what does that mean? Isn't it just the amount of calories you burn in a day versus you take in? I had one guy arguing with me that it doesn't matter when you eat it as long as you just take in this many calories. Well, that's actually something someone would say that's not in the know, okay? Because the fact of the matter is, there are certain parts of the day that you burn more calories than other parts of the day. I'm saying assuming you're not exercising. If you're running 10 miles at night, you're going to burn a lot of calories at night. But let's say you're not exercising during the day. How does the body work at rest? Because not everyone is an avid exerciser. And the fact of the matter is I just remember, again, personal testimony with myself and with clients. I noticed when I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning or 5:30 in the morning with the sun, and there's a reason why the flowers wilt at night and then pop up during the day, that tells you something. That flower is more efficient when the sun's up. So I started this experiment, and you read a lot of things on this, but you don't always read articles that, you'll find a few. I'm saying you don't find as many that basically say, eat when the sun's up, stop eating when the sun goes down. You don't hear that the body is more efficient during, the day when the sun's up. And there's a reason why for that, because that's when the sun is its strongest, and nature is basically teaching us. This is how we learn from nature. I notice, outside, I live in a complex where there's lots of squirrels and there's lots of birds. And you know what I notice? I mean, we have tons of squirrels and birds, but as 5:30, 6 o'clock, let's on the East Coast, I'm here in New York, actually comes, you know what I notice? That it's starting to get, the dusk, it's starting to get the, nightfall is starting to come. And I noticed, I was like, so many squirrels and so many birds, it's not one, around. And I said, they're already 5:36, the sun's going down, it's starting to get a little dark out. They're already in their nest. I mean, they're not around. They're not running around. You don't see them running in the trees. I look up in the trees. You don't see them. They are not moving. Okay, they are sitting and they're comfortable in their nest or in their tree or whatever the case may be. And I say, isn't that interesting? Just to, again, show you could learn from anyone. It's just, again, interesting. And then sometimes I've been up at 5:36 in the morning. And, sometimes I get up right before it gets light and all of a sudden the birds are up. They're chirping. I may not see them, but they're chirping. And I see a few squirrels running around. And I sit there and I say, I'm going to start following this. And what I noticed, the reason why I'm telling you the story, so what I noticed is I ate almost 70% more food when I got up at 5:30 in the morning than, let's say, I slept in and started eating closer to 11 or 12 o'clock noon because I just wanted to sleep in. I was like, I eat about 2 meals a day when I wake up around 11 or 12 and I decide to sleep in, and I don't feel I'm burning those calories. I don't feel like burning them for myself. But when I get up at 5:30, I eat at 5:30, 5:36, around that time. And then I can't even wait to noon because it's like 10:30, 11. I'm already hungry again. And then then at 4 o'clock, I eat around 11, 11:30. Then at like 4 o'clock, I'm like hungry again. I'm just like, and I have to actually eat, snacks, which I don't normally do when I wake up around 11 or 12, eat snacks during the day. And then I guess I stop eating around 4:35, and then I get a little hungry at night again. And what I don't want to do, because I should be in my nest getting ready to sleep, I don't want to eat again at night. So I'll have like a banana slice, an apple slice, even though it has sugar in it. Apple slices, they actually suppress the appetite. So sometimes what I do is I take apple slices or a banana even that has sugar, but banana has melatonin, helps you kind of fall asleep. Not only the whole banana, I'm talking about a slice of an apple or a slice of, slice of a banana. And, sometimes I even drink warm milk and I heat up the milk because I know it's going to help me fall asleep. And those aren't exactly, eating string beans at night, but they kind of suppress the appetite. And you have to find ways to have a snack Some people have a little yogurt at night or something like that if you're lactose intolerant. Like I said, you could go for a little apple slice. You know, it really works. I have apple slices a night. I stop eating. So that's something to look at. Something else you might want to look at. So I guess basically in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that try waking up earlier, okay, around when the sun comes up. Kind of tail off your eating when the sun goes down. And that might sound strange to a lot of people because they come home at 6:37 at night. And I had a client once saying to me, like, you know, it's kind of hard for me to lose weight because, you know, not to disclose, but, you know, just generally speaking, he said, yeah, it's kind of hard for me to fall asleep. I mean, to lose weight. And I'm like, well, what time do you eat? Well, I skip breakfast. That's the worst thing you could do. So now your body, if you skip breakfast, is going to go in starvation mode. Nature is smarter than us. Our body is smarter than us, okay? And our body knows that if you're going to starve yourself for breakfast, it's going to retain food and not burn it and actually slow down your metabolism because it knows you're not going to eat until lunch. Okay, and your body's smart. So you basically have a slow metabolism the whole morning into lunch, and then when you finally eat, okay, your body didn't really burn any calories from the night before, whatever the case may be. Anyway, this client also told me that their husband gets home late and they want to have dinner with their husband. Well, how late does your husband get back? And he's, you know, I won't tell you what he does, but he has a job that he has to work a lot of hours and he's a partner and stuff like that. So, you know, more or less, you know, he gets home a lot of times at 8:39, sometimes even later. So I was like, so wait, you're having a meal with your husband? Well, I want to have a meal with him. I'm like, you know, why can't you just, you know, have a small plate with him and don't eat your whole dinner? Have your dinner at your regular time and then have a snack with him and just keep him company. Because if you're trying to lose weight, the worst thing you could possibly do is eat before you go to sleep. You have to stop eating 3 to 4 hours before you go to sleep. It takes 4 hours for the food, 4 to 4.5 hours for the food, depending on what you eat, to basically get out of your stomach. You don't want to go to sleep with any food in your stomach. You know, if it's an apple slice, a snack right before you go to bed, you have to worry about that, you know, but a whole meal, and it's like you're never going to lose weight, you know, eating right before you go to sleep. Because I told her, I said, come on, you know that. Everyone knows that, you know, but you'll be surprised how many times that comes up with a husband coming back. Like, not, you know, you want to eat with your husband, have a small, say, honey, I ate it, you know, 6 o'clock, I'm having a small dish with you. And, you know, and explain why you're doing it. And most people would appreciate that you're trying to live your life, you know, a little bit better. But that's one way to fail. So what you want to do is you get up early, and here's the key. Certain foods you should not eat at night. Potato chips, unless you're just having a few. Pasta, unless you're just having like less than a handful, like a couple of spoonfuls. It's just pasta doesn't process well at night because the metabolism's at rest. So if you eat pasta, say pasta's a lunch meal, I'm going to have a little pasta, not all pasta. You got to have fruits. Every time you eat should be a balanced meal, okay? Plain and simple. You should, every meal you have, make sure there's fruit, make sure there's vegetable. You know, sometimes people have fruit in the morning and then vegetable, you know, in the afternoon, because sometimes mixing certain fruits with vegetables, not apples, but certain fruits and tomatoes and certain foods with vegetables sometimes could cause a gassy effect. So you have to really be careful. So one thing you want to do is you want to basically have balanced meals, but you want to also have, and this is very important, is you never, you start early and you want to finish a few hours before you go to bed. That in of itself, and if you get up with the sun, that in of itself will speed up your metabolism. And you never want to get a meal in you when you eat and you're full. I'll repeat it a couple times. You never want to eat and you're full. You never want to eat to your full. If you eat and you're full, you ate too much. But now I'm going to teach you the real secret, okay? As far as pastas and stuff, pastas and early. You want a French fry, have a few French fries, you know, at lunch. Don't have them at night unless you're just having a couple. But if you like having, French fries, don't eat it every day. You know, you have to manage it. You don't have to eliminate, you have to manage it, you know. Certain steaks and certain, you know, foods like steak are very harsh, have it over your salad at lunch. Steak could be a little hard to digest, and keep steak is probably better, said a couple times a week, most. But, eat healthier as the day goes on. So if you're going to cheat, you want that donut and I got to eat that donut, I got to eat that dessert. Well, have a donut with your vegetable omelet or whatever you might eat at night. I like, a lot of people don't like vegetables, but I tell them have a vegetable omelet. Get your vegetables in right away, and it tastes pretty good with eggs, Some people like cooked vegetables more than they like fresh vegetables. Fresh vegetables would be a better choice. But, the thing is you really want to make things easy for yourself. And here's the key. Certain foods, whether it be a French fries, a pizza, or something, that's lunch. And you don't have 3 slices of pizza. You maybe have split the slice with someone. Have it for lunch. See, you don't have to eliminate it. You just have half of a slice. Tell the guy at the thing, say, I'd like a slice of pizza. Could you cut it in half? Have half a slice and have a salad with it. That way you get to cheat. Or if you wanted a donut, have a vegetable omelet and have your donut, because chances are, if you're moving around during the day, which you probably are, you're going to burn, whatever it is you eat if you have to cheat. And I have to mention a video where there's cheating involved, because people always talk about eating plans and diets. They don't talk about the foods that you really love and that you're going to eat. And what happens is it becomes a yo-yo effect where you do good for a month and you're like, I didn't eat any French fries, I didn't eat pizza, I didn't eat pasta. And then, the next 3 days you're, sitting watching TV with a bucket of Rocky Road ice cream, or fried chicken. And I love fried chicken wings, but you won't see me eating fried chicken too much at night. I just say, if I want fried chicken, I'll have a wing or whatever it is with my meal at lunch. So this way I could have a little fried chicken, kind of get that little, fixed thing in that I like. But then, or French fry or anything like that. And then I could eat like fruits and vegetables and, I'm spending some time talking about the foods that you like, because they always talk about foods that you don't like that are healthy for you, and you all know what those are. And there's never really a video that talks about I get to eat what I want and manage what I want, but hey, that's a lunch food. Oh, that's a breakfast food. Oh, you don't want to eat that at lunch. And you really want to stop eating a few hours before you go to sleep. And you want to get up with the sun. And if you just develop this way of talking, I don't want to hear, oh, I'm not a morning person. Go to bed earlier. It'll be tough the first few days, but you'll be surprised. I'm not a morning person either. I've always been a night owl. I get it from my mother. But the fact of the matter is like, the bottom line is that you can actually get used to it after a while, and you're just going to find you get to eat more, and you get to eat more meals. This is basically how the eating goes. Always make sure your meal is balanced. Don't just have, what people do sometimes is they just have like muffins and donut for breakfast. You should always eat every meal and say, is it balanced? Do I have a fruit in there? Do I have a vegetable in there? Do I have a grain? Which also helps move things through the fiber. Always think that way, and then say, oh, I get to throw in that little food. Not a lot, because I have to manage it, and it's not a night food, it's a breakfast food. It's not a night food, it's a lunch food, and I can't eat a lot of it, but I get to throw in my little thing that I get to have what I like. But I can have that thing that I like that might not be as good for me if I could do all the other things correct too. So you get to do both, and you basically get to love the way you eat, because you always get to have a piece of dessert or, a pasta or whatever the case may be, as long as you're doing the other things. But here's the key, and this, if there's nothing else you listen to me, you have to pay attention to this, because this is the key. And this is really what focuses. Losing weight is simple. Just follow these steps. All those steps are important, but this is the most important one. You see my hand? Well, I have big hands. So I guess it depends on the size of your hand. Or better yet, put your hands together like this. See if you could see my hands, and cup them. And whatever fits in that cup of your hands, okay? It's basically that much, right? And let me give you a better picture. Whatever fits in that hand, when you put them together and cup them together, both hands cupped together, that's the amount of food you're allowed to eat. Doesn't seem like a lot, but what most people don't realize is try and experiment with me. Whatever fits in those hands put together, making a little bowl with both hands out in front of you, whatever fits in there, eat it. And the first thing I'm going to say, if you eat about 3 times that much or twice as much, and the portions in the U.S. are just ridiculous, the first thing I'm going to say is, Dean, I'm still hungry. Okay, Dean, I'm still want to eat. I'm still hungry. But the fact of the matter is when you're done, you might feel hungry. You will feel hungry. I'm going to tell you, you will feel hungry. But the fact of the matter is if you wait about 20 minutes to a half an hour, guess what's going to happen? Magic. Okay, magic. You're going to sit there and say, you know what? I'm not hungry anymore. So after you eat what's in the cup with both hands, okay, I'll show it to you again, you're going to say, if you're used to eating 2 or 3 times that much, you're going to say, I'm hungry. But I want you to promise me that you'll wait 20 minutes or you'll wait 30 minutes and you'll sit there and say, you know what? Dean's right. I'm not hungry right now. And you won't be for several hours, okay? And here's the other most important thing, okay? Never eat more than that. Never eat more than that. And you'll do something that's so amazing, is what most people do is anything more than what fits in your hands is going to slow your metabolism. Now, if you are a person of, let's say, bigger size, maybe putting your 2 hands together and maybe, maybe you're used to eating maybe 3 or more that size, and you have to because you have a bigger body, let's say, to put it eloquent, that needs more food to make your body process. So in relative, nature, if you're one of those people and you have a way, you're a bigger person, let's say, maybe instead of like that 2 hands together, maybe spread it out a little just to give you a little bit more food until you start to get to a certain level where you're not as big, and then always stick to that 2-hand process. So nothing I say is etched in stone. You have to use your head a little bit. But what people don't realize is the body, to be efficient, how do you get your metabolism to be fast and quicker, coming from a person that naturally at rest has a slow metabolism? And I always ask myself that question: how do I get my metabolism to be fast? Oh, eat these foods. That works a little bit. How do I get my metabolism to be fast? Oh, you have to do this. You have to stay away from that type of food and eat this type of food. Oh, okay, I'll try that. No, the thing that speeds up the body faster than anything is to have 6 meals a day. 3 regular-sized meals with a few snacks in between. I know people say, oh, that's impossible. I didn't say 6 meals. I said 6 smaller meals, 3 that fit into your hands, and then 3 snacks. So the snacks are usually something you carry around in a plastic bag with you, whether it be nuts and little yogurt, different things like that. And it's something that takes just a few minutes. It's just something to tie you over to your next, 2-hand cup meal. And even your 2-hand cup meal, I mean, you put your 2 hands together in a cup, it doesn't take that long to eat that amount of food. I mean, you'll be done in 10 minutes. So people think they can't do that because they're like, oh, I sit down to a meal. It takes me like 45 minutes, half an hour to get through all my food. Yeah, because you're having a big meal. What you don't know is when you feel heavy after your meal, guess what your insides, your metabolism is doing? They feel heavy too. What's going on the outside is what's going on the inside. So basically what's happening is when you feel sluggish after you eat, you overate. You should never feel sluggish after you eat. If you did, then you lost weight. And the beauty of this, the excitement is this: if you keep it in those 2-cup hands, what's going to happen is you're actually going to feel like you could do something after you eat. Even though you're digesting and stuff, you're not going to have that heaviness feeling at all. And, some of you have to go back to work and it's going to be a quicker meal, and you're going to say, wow, I just feel better. And the reason why you feel better is what's going on the outside is what's going on the inside. Is what's going on the outside is you're feeling alert, you're feeling up, you don't feel heavy. And the reason why you feel that way is that's what's going on in the inside of your body, is everything's working efficiently. And that is truly eating the right meals, things like that. There's certain foods you could eat. I'll cover that in another video. But those things will actually help you also. But the thing that will help you the most, okay, is eating a small amount at a time. And trust me, it's not going to feel like enough food. Take what you need, but it's not going to feel like enough food. But what you're going to notice is you're going to say, I'm hungry. 20 minutes later, you're saying, yeah, it's funny, I'm really not hungry. And that means your body is already burning that food. And so, I tried this experiment once, eating 3 big meals just for myself. Let me just do this myself. 3 big meals a day. And I ate the same amount of food, and I wasn't losing weight. I wasn't overweight, but let's say I want to lose 15 pounds. What happens, weight fluctuates, holidays, and I wanted to lose 15 pounds, and I was eating 3 meals a day. I wasn't managing the times I was eating. I was eating later in the night, not 3 or 4 hours before I went to sleep. I wasn't getting up in the morning. Well, guess what? I did an experiment where I ate the same amount of calories every single day than I ate when I was 15 pounds overweight or heavier. I didn't really look overweight, but I could tell, You guys know what I'm talking about. And I couldn't take off that 15 pounds. So what I did this experiment many years ago is I did the same exact thing. I ate the same amount of foods. I made sure I ate the same amount of food. I made sure I ate the exact same food. And I did it for 30 days. And I didn't lose weight. Then, eating 3 big meals, sorry for that. Then I tried the same thing, getting up at 5:36 in the morning, get up with the sun. Then I stopped eating 3-4 hours before I went to sleep. Okay, then I ate the same amount of food. Instead of 3 big meals, I had 6 smaller meals, 3 that fit into both my hands put together, and 3 snacks. And guess what? I lost the 15 pounds. And I wasn't doing any more exercises versus the 30 days I did versus 30 days I didn't. I have naturally a very slow metabolism. I ate the same amount of food. I ate the same foods. I didn't minus out any of the foods that I was eating. It was the same amount. I measured it and everything. And I lost the 15 pounds. So what does that tell you? I wasn't minusing out the foods I like. Okay. I wasn't changing the amount of food I was eating. I wasn't limiting my calories. I wasn't even trying to go healthier. In this particular case, I mean, it's a lot better if you go healthier, but for this experiment of 30 days on, 30 days off, the only difference is I stopped eating 3-4 hours before I went to sleep. I got up at 5:36 in the morning with the sun. Okay. I had 3 smaller meals with 3 snacks, and I lost weight. Basic 15 pounds, doing the exact same thing I did the original 30 days. And those 30 days, I didn't lose 1 pound. Okay, so that in and of itself, you don't have to minus out the foods you like. You don't have to, but you have to manage them. You have to, what time I'm going to eat them. That's a heavy food. I'm not eating that at night. And what happens is you develop this, fluffy way of talking to yourself. We say, hey, that's not really a dinner food. That's not really a lunch. That's more of a breakfast food. I don't want to eat it. I like that food, but that's something I have to have a small portion of. And I have to have my balanced meal. And I keep repeating these things over and over and over and over again because it just drives me crazy when people do all these extreme things, for diets. And I sit there and I say, I know what they're trying to do. I feel them. I empathize. I'm with them. I'm so glad that they're trying to, live their life the right way, but you don't have to go to those extremes. I'm telling you, I have excessively slow metabolism. Measured against 50 other people, mine was the slowest. I did something for 30 days. I was 15 pounds heavier. And then, I just, developed a few bad habits. It was the holidays, put on 15 pounds. Happens to everyone, even people that teach it like me. And I wasn't taking it off. And I tried the experiment, ate the same thing, same amount of food, same calories, same everything. Just implemented the system, and what happened was the weight just came off, and it was painless. I didn't have to set goals. I didn't have to do anything. It's the worst thing you do. I don't look at it. I don't need a scale to know I'm getting tight in my pants, and I don't need a scale to know that I'm getting looser in my pants. It's pretty obvious. You just have to look in the mirror and know if you lose weight, right? So these are the types of things that you could do, and I made this video a little bit longer because it's really important. It's New Year's. It's a resolution. And, a lot of people that watch this video, and I have plenty of stuff on my website. I'm sorry, it's www.Rising Star Enterprises for Wellbeing. That is also our Facebook page. Follow us. I'm going to be posting things all the time, fast and furious. We're on 10 radio stations across the board. Really, really fun stuff. iTunes, Google Play Music, and I have a podcast there, and a sports management company that covers fitness, nutrition, it even covers sports commentary. I work with a lot of athletes, primarily football. I've dealt with a lot of athletes in that area. And we're going to be, and we have our YouTube channel, Rising Star Enterprises for Wellbeing. You just subscribe. It's an easy thing to do, and that's not the big deal. The big deal is you get to get more and more and more information. And if you want to take that a step further, I'm in New York, but whether you live in New York or Australia, you can Skype me for a fee. It's $129.95 a month. And you get all these wonderful things, like you get someone to walk, if it's a struggle and you feel, I hear his video, I need someone more prevalent in my life, someone I could actually talk to that's there for me. Well, we could set something up where you pay the fee per month, and we have Skype calls and email calls. Go on our website, check it out, and you get all these perks and benefits. And we speak for an hour a month. I like to tell people, like, let's speak twice a month for half an hour. We could check in, and it's never a reprimand or anything like that. It's just about being positive and, oh, that didn't work, well, let's try this. Oh, that didn't work, let's try this. It's never like a stringent thing where we're just like, because people yo-yo, they go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. But sometimes it's just good to have a buddy with you. I know when I go to the gym, I'm a personal trainer and I train lots of people, but sometimes when I go to the gym, I like to work out with someone, someone to spot me, the workouts are better. And so look at our website, check that out, and we have a lot of great things going on. So again, just to kind of run through the mill with this, and we of course have our new radio station, which you may also want, which is Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio, and it's new and just launched, and you want to look at that. And when we're not talking about health and fitness and massage, or we're not speaking about our sports management company and talking about injuries and rehabilitation, whether it be regular, working people or home people or professional type athletes, or even giving commentary on football. It's something I've always loved, football. Dealing with a lot of athletes in that area, I've just become really great with the commentary on it, and I kind of include that. Some people play in elite championship play, a competition in fantasy where they play against other competitors, and now it's a family thing, it's a corporate thing. So there's a lot of analysis I do on athletes on that can be used for that, because I talk about rehabilitation of sprained ankles, hips, and capacities of players, being that I've dealt with this as a personal trainer, and I add that, and it's a great growing radio station we have on Live 365. Broadcast live 365, called Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio. And on it, what's really great about it is when you don't hear tapes about sports commentary or speaking about injuries that occurred in sports-related events. Some people really know, this player got this. What does that entail? I also had that injury. Or I'm talking about health and fitness and nutrition and diet and even massage. I actually have handpicked music that is a little bit more old school, a little bit more 1980s, 1990s, some newer, music, but a lot of it is more, alternative. I guess it's more, some of it might be old disco songs that are upbeat, that make you want to work out. I also added in movies, whether it's Rocky theme and stuff like that, where there's great uplifting videos. And so when the show isn't on, it's a consecutive 6, 7, 8 hours. And then after that, it's just up-tempo music that you could work out to. So, go on Live 365, broadcast live, Live 365. And check out our Uptempo Sports Fitness Radio, because you get to, there's not too many stations where you just listen to, and it's just, and I handpick the music. So I know the music. I used to do aerobics too and teach aerobics too, and I still do. And so I'm really kind of good at knowing the right songs to pick that really get you motivated. And sometimes, you go into a gym, you see people with their headphones on and they want to listen to like really up-tempo music, and they're like, I can't find it, this. Well, I pick out all the tracks, and a lot of it, some of it's like old disco, some of it's old, pop, Motown, some of it's even, rock rock that has a really good beat to it. Some of it, I might even throw in a Faith Hill or something, That Kiss, or some type of even a different, segment from what I focus on that might be a little bit more countryist, but it has a, good snap beat to it. So I just want to wish everyone the best. And, thank you for tuning in. And I hope you all have a New Year's resolution and do great with it.